All right, we're back.
Hello.
We're back. And now we're here. I remember last time you were here was when we were still doing them in like 15-minute chunks and we took like 35 minutes or something. We'll see now that we've budgeted for half an hour if it'll take an hour and a half or something like that.
Well, it'll probably only take 5 minutes now. I'll just answer them and get out of
I
here.
have a bunch of questions. We got a whole bunch. Some of them, like, this afternoon while I was, getting the questions ready for tonight, a whole bunch more came in for you.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's just... How you doing? It's been a couple
Yeah, a couple of little bits, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing good. I have to wake up early now because I'm working, but you know, it's part of life.
Oh,
Coffee helps.
coffee is magic. How's Thorak doing?
Thorak's doing.
Yeah?
Thorak wants to be level 8. Sorry. I said I wouldn't do that the first 5 minutes.
Every time you mention it, it's another session, another fight
Level
before
8,
you level
man.
up.
No, he's just chilling right now. Nothing's really like focused on him. He has his priorities, so he's just hanging out.
I had another visit by Moradin yet?
Yeah, Moradin. Yeah, Moradin.
Yeah.
That's who it is.
Totally. Alright, well then let's get into these questions. This is from D&D Beauty. What is Thorak's preferred method of drinking? Keg stand, drinking horn, big pint, trough, belly button? That was specifically when she asked about.
Not taking any Jello shots off. I'd say it's whatever's convenient at the time. Right now he's filled his horn with whatever, you know, he did whiskey once and rum once, and then he got this big old keg. Probably the keg though, now that I'm saying it out loud, because it's most volume, you know? And it's like, so he can just keep going. Eventually the other stuff will run out, but hopefully the keg sticks around.
Well, that goes into the next question, which is, does he drink because he likes it, or is he trying to numb himself from his past or present self?
Thorak is actually pretty young for a dwarf. When he's like between 37 and 47, like he's basically 21 is what he is. And so before he left, he didn't really do too much drinking, but like everyone did drinking because they're dwarves and he lived underground, and like, you know, it's nothing. You drink and you hunt spiders. Like that's what you do. So once he's gotten out, he's like, yeah, drinking's great. And then also he might be trying to numb something or another along the way.
Do you want to specify? I don't know how much you've talked about it. I don't know how much Thorak has talked about it in the game.
Thorak has only briefly mentioned it to Moradin. He has not talked about it with really anyone else, and it's never really come up. So, no one really knows. He knows. Well, he thinks he knows.
Traumatic.
Yeah, something incredibly traumatic. It was a good time. Now he drinks.
How intense is his drive to fix this traumatic event?
I think one of the few mature qualities that Thorak has is his patience with this. Unlike me in leveling, he knows that comparative to other people in his village, he was not the strongest thing there. And so he knows before he has to do anything, he needs 2 things: money and strength. And so he's not in a rush yet. Like, it is not in the top priority. He's made this good group of friends. They seem to have things going on also. And so he's like, through the things I do with them, I'll get stronger, and then I can deal with my shit. So right now he's just playing the waiting game. Exactly.
This one is also from... How do you like the progression of Thorak so far? And do you have anything you want to continue as a character?
I mean, I have a lot I want to work on him as a character. He's not. I have a lot of ideas in my head, and I have to remember Thorak's kind of stupid. He's young and brash, and he's not like he hasn't been playing D&D for the past 7 years. So it's hard to keep him separate. But I definitely he has a lot of maturing to do. He has a lot of learning to do. I don't know if you guys know this, but even if they're your god, if they suddenly say kill anyone who knows me, that's probably not the best. Just hanging out, which I do love, by the way. On the part of the other answer of that, I love that you added that in, because that was all Lydia. Full credit to her, nothing to me there, and I love it. But yeah, he has a lot of growing in a lot of different ways. And then there's some things that he already knows that I haven't gotten to show off yet, and then there's things that he's just kind of learned throughout it. So it's a growing game for him. He's a young chap.
Saying that he is like so patient, does he have like more like plans or like analytical thinking of like what to work on next aside from just big buff money dude?
No, big buff money dude he thinks is the answer right now. And like he knows he has like these powers, and he's able to do this and all these cool things thanks to his deity, but he still knows he's not strong enough for whatever this was. So in his mind, strength is big buff and magic, and he needs all of that stronger. And money helps.
My setup that I work at is right underneath where he's awake right now, and he's going blah, 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 blah. He's having a fun time. So if you hear that, he's happy tonight. I know a few nights ago he was upset. Tonight he's happy. That's good. All right. Next question. Who is Thorak's favorite person he's encountered? Why? This can include party members or NPCs.
Shoot, hold that thought. I have notes that include these things. I knew I should have had them up. I was like, I should pull those up before. Nah.
I have a question about your notes too.
Oh no. Okay. I know he kind of likes him. I know that. But I don't know if it's his favorite. I'm trying to see. Because he doesn't really know her yet,
They have
it might be
separate boats.
Exactly. We weren't on the same boat.
She tried to have a conversation with you, and then you went and threw a tiger into the mechanics and just kind of wrecked that.
Oh man, him and his oblivious self. It's so pure. I love it. Pure. His alcoholic, I'd say I actually think Denono, he likes the kind of opposite of him that Denono is. Even though they grew up in in our little backstory things, they traveled together for like a week or two before they met the group. And so they got a chance to know each other. And Denono is like a forest elfy version of him. They're both like very, like they didn't know much outside their own thing. They both did their own thing, worshiped their own things. They had their own society, and then they're now out in the world for their own reasons. And so it's just kind of interesting, two people born under similar circumstances are super different. And I think he likes that. He also likes just how low-key he is and the bad influence that that Thorak can tell he is on Denono.
Kind of like later stages of Legolas and after they get over like the whole you're an elf, I'm a dwarf thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of skipped that whole part.
Oh man, yeah. Luckily, no elf versus dwarf racism yet. We'll see. We haven't been many places.
I don't know how much of that there necessarily is. A bit. But it's mostly like elves and everyone else.
Yeah, I was gonna say just elves being posh, especially like high elves and not wood elves.
There's not actually as much of that there, because like the elves in Idrion are kind of their own sub-kingdom. They have an entire peninsula of the kingdom they claim and is theirs, and they pay taxes and whatever, but the guard isn't there. They take care of their own law enforcement, and they don't let other people in like you have to get special permission to even come into the peninsula, and you do not live there, you do not stay there. They like keep an eye on you, and like they will walk you out, and they will be like, please go. They're very, very isolated, in a very isolationist kingdom, so it's more like don't like people.
That's isolaception. Yeah, isolation.
Isolahedron.
Yeah, sure. Something like that.
Yeah, there's I don't know how much specific like dwarf elf animosity there is, but there's general like elf animosity. Dwarves are pretty cool and around. They're fun.
Elves are like, they shake the human's hand and then they wash their hands after.
Which is definitely fun to have Denono in the party, because he is from an elf society that is like not like that. I mean, he is from like an all elf place, but they traded with people, they did all these things, and they weren't like, oh, we hate everybody. This more like, we just do this stuff that no one else does. That's why we're different.
They seem like the hippie elves.
They are.
Like he burned that burning bush, down in the room just to get his spiritual awakening or whatever. Like those some hippie elves. I like it.
I'm a little surprised that no one was like, what the heck just happened?
I mean,
our boat just got eaten by the ocean? What?
I love just the immediate dismissal of it. Because, like, since Thorak's been out in the world, it's just thing after thing happens. So he's like, oh, this is just how life is. You go somewhere, things attack you, you move on, and things attack you. And so...
is actually like a question that I had for later of just like, Thorak has never been on a ship before. He fearlessly threw himself over the side of the trivial mood to follow the abducted Elias. Does he have questions regarding the whirlpool, or does he just assume this is a typical occurrence on the high sea?
Yeah, he's never been on a ship. Like, if he has heard anything, he's probably heard stories of like beasts or whirlpool, like, the greater exaggerated stories of the ocean. He hasn't heard like, you spend a Saturday evening there, you have a picnic. He's heard like, oh, and great beasts came out and did this. And so he's like, yeah, it's at the ocean, things happen. Yeah, exactly. I do think though, and I kind of had the thought of this, of like, he doesn't know how scary it is to jump into just the emptiness of the ocean. And so he's just like, oh, well, I can breathe underwater now. There shouldn't be a problem. Woo! So, yeah, he's just inexperienced.
So how intense was it for him to like suddenly be in not just the ocean, but a whirlpool in the ocean with invisible monsters? Because water weirds on their stat block, it says when they're in water they are invisible. You cannot see them.
It's like if you put a smaller glass in a glass of water, you can no longer see the smaller glass. Yeah. He's simultaneously like mystified by it, and also just like he really thinks it's just another day. Like that's truly where he's at right now. Like this is what reality is once you leave the cave, This is just what happens. Things attack. Guess I'll deal. And I don't think he had time when he was in the ocean to like look. He was so beelined in on gotta save Elias and Lycum, and then gotta save Denono, that he wasn't like, holy shit. Like, what is all of this?
So emotionally avoidant. Therapist would love to get their hands on Thorak and just be like, alright, you gotta feel your feelings.
Thorak disagrees fully.
I don't need them. No, they're not important. They're necessary.
They're not important. I don't feel anything ever.
Alright. What's next?
Didn't do it.
Lost track of this is specifically for you. How far is Thorak from the original concept that you had for the character? Like, has he evolved beyond thought?
I think, if anything, I've played him less intense than I thought. Which I think happens with most characters in D&D. The meme is you start out as Lord of the Rings campaign and turn into Monty Python. So like, you've read his backstory. He's got the whole tragic thing down. But I think I kind of forgot the original question in this answer.
How far is
Repeat it.
Thorak from the original concept?
I think he's pretty close. He's just milder. And kind of when I designed him too, I designed him as a problem character, so he does have a lot of room to grow. He just, it's been what, 13, 14 sessions now?
I think
13? Yeah. It hasn't been a long time in game. It's been 8 days. We're really good at passing time. So he hasn't had time to really grow beyond my idea of him, but my idea in itself was growth for him, hopefully. Or death, and I just pick something stupid.
And I think this isn't just a D&D thing. I feel like this is a very, typical person thing of when you're not currently experiencing the difficulties of your life, it is very easy to act completely different. And then when they return, you revert back to how that is.
Yeah.
So it's possible,
Yeah.
I feel like, because we're a bunch of goofs and it's great. Like the second that it goes into personal territory, because we haven't done any personal stuff quite yet.
Yeah.
The second it goes into personal territory, I think it'll be serious mode on. The second where it's all right, what's going on with Thorak's bull?
I think, sorry, continue. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I kind of showed a first glimpse of where his head is with the torture scene, because that was very much he is paladin. He's literally a vengeance paladin. He very much believes in revenge. That's part of what he is. It needs the revenge and then redemption. It's a part of the healing process to him, and so I think that kind of is one of the things that pushes him, because that's one of his core values, is revenge can help you lead to redemption, but you can't wallow in it after you're done. And so that's kind of what he told the tiefling girl, and she brushed it off a little bit, which makes sense. He was talking more to him than to her. But I think that was just to kind of show a little bit of the serious side in between the mounds of drinking and joking that is Thorak right now.
I do think that the next arc following personally targeted, I will not say whose, it might very much depend on what you guys decide to do, but I think it's a bit more character involved. Oh, there's the thing happening.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this stuff with Malello to last as long as it had. I was thinking 5-6 sessions, and no, we're more than double that now.
Well, I'm sorry you gave all of his friends a healing potion, and they all gave it to Malello.
They're, a professional cult that hunts people. Of course they're gonna have healing potions. Of course they all have one.
Oh, man. I still love Liam's reaction when he got away, though. It's just ah!
I feel so bad for, taking it out from under him, though, because he had
literally
done
out
the killing
from under
blow. He had done the how do you want to do this, and then it was oh no, he gets healed and he walks away.
Oh, I loved it. Oopsie. Did I do that?
And if he doesn't get the killing blow on him, it will be so sad.
I feel like that's the one killing blow that Denono or Elias is gonna take instead of one of the two paladins, just by chance.
Oh. Alright, we've got, I think, one last one. This is the one about your notes. Are you excited to eventually turn over your notes? Have you changed the way you take notes? That became a thing.
If anything, I'm afraid it will be lackluster to others. Because I take notes, the way I take, let me think. Since that was released, my notes are 10% better than what they were. I take slightly better notes because I don't want that much judgment. Because my notes are usually not from my point of view. They're usually, I try to take them from the characters, because I don't want to metagame too much, but I'm really good at metagaming myself. So I try to, separate it. And so they're, I'm looking through it right now. I'm at 10 pages so far. There's a lot of bullet points in there.
So much better than We've had 3 sessions of Ready to Roll. This is all that I have. Just like those few lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the name of the sheriff, cult, there's a castle, this is the name of the son of the Banshee, this is the name of his family, and then a couple of members of like a family. There's not any like opinions on them. I don't know if their names are spelled correctly. There's just some times where I just like, oh, I should take notes, and then I do like 3 lines. Like the fact that you have 10 pages is insane.
Well, it's very like the benefit of doing it on the computer is Control F for find, because like, but my issue is I still spell so many names wrong, so I have to remember how I spell them. Like 'em is the word like with an M. I don't know if that's right, but that's how it's spelled to me.
Ew.
And so like that's, you know, and like so many do that. And then I have, when we were getting more like questy quests, not like we need to go kill Malello because fuck that guy, how dare he leave and not get killed by us. Like I'd have the bullet points for the quest, so I would remember where we were at. So like for find the sun, in woods with teacher, optional, find teacher house, went to teacher house, found teacher, teacher's aware type, like the step by step for it.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but it should be a good time. There's some weird stuff. Oh, I need to ask you, why did I write down Bubsy OnlyFans?
I'm not sure. Because Bubsy's the guy who was able to confirm that,
Can translate handwriting. Yeah,
he
Thieves
could
Guild Ozamor,
confirm that the letters were from Tristan and not
that's
from anything else. Oh, exactly why talking about his OnlyFans, because I don't have one.
I don't write down anything that's in my head canon because I will confuse myself because my head canon is bonkers. I'm glad that's not the game we're playing. But like, so I only write down stuff if you're like, yeah, definitely, and then I'm like, good. So I know there's at least, you said something positive about the OnlyFans existing. I don't know what it was.
I don't know. I don't usually watch the games back again because I don't have 3.5 hours burned rewatching them. So there's so many things that I'm realizing that I say like offhanded or I kind of like improvise on the spot that later I'm like, oh, that could be important. What did I say about that? I don't know. Like there's definitely been some stuff about like some of the NPCs that you talk to in these cities that you pass through that I'm like, oh, they're gonna come back and be like, oh yeah, what about this person? It's totally made up, not in notes anywhere at all.
Anytime anyone makes the joke to you about, oh, and I want to know their backstory, I know there's nothing written, so I write their name down.
No way.
I just have a bunch
of lot of the
names
backstories are of like even established NPCs are not anywhere. Like Keldra's backstory, even though I played her in like a one-shot, she has been with you for a little bit, and she has been existent in the world as a council member for over a year. Her backstory is written down nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. It's all in my head. So if all of a sudden my memory becomes fallible, then it's a problem because you're like, oh, what was her dad's name? I know I've said it before, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, I think her parents' names are written down somewhere. I think it might be Lycom's backstory that's kind of more not
That's
anywhere.
The one that yeah. Oh man.
Also, her name is spelled Lycom.
That's wrong. It's Lycom with an M.
If you're ever curious, you can go to the Wiki and look for there's a decent amount of NPCs that are.
I definitely wrote down Lycom Basra. Thorak likes him. So it has to be spelled that way.
Little Miss Fodder asks, how close are we to having the notes released? I believe, what did we say was the sub goal for
100
that?
subs, and I will release
subs. We might revise that down to like 50 or even as low as 25, because I believe we currently have 9. Which is, you know, that's good. That's awesome.
Just think about how fleshed out the notes will be, though, if we wait till a hundo.
I know, we'll be like, at the end of the campaign, it will just have perfect things of all of the stuff.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's what I was saying. So we'll continue to look at it. We'll continue to revise it. That is where we initially set it at. No,
Yeah, we can look into that.
we can change that up. But yeah, spread the word so you can get Aaron's now.
Oh man, there's some good stuff. I love it.
Okay. What you looking forward to for next week?
What did we do this week? Let me
Spill the
think for a
beans.
sec. Oh, we're getting to the place, so I'm excited for the place. Even if there is nothing there, Thorak is sure something's hidden there, so I'm excited for the place.
Okay, I'll have to flesh that out a little bit.
And I will be encouraging Elias specifically to I'm like, I know there has to any place that's this weird has to have stuff. Come on. And I'm just gonna fuel Elias's fire to try to get him to look for stuff. Besides that, I'm excited to see after their elaborate planning of how they're gonna tell Lycum and Canoodle about Keldra about the Elias's were-tiger, having me just blurt it out and seeing how that's gonna ripple through everything.
Like, we'll get them on a rowboat so they can't get away, and we'll sit there and be like, guess what? I'm a were-tiger. And we'll be like, yes, I know this. I've known this for 3 days. I've been aware.
Oh. Aware. Tiger. Can I just comment about it? I made that scratching joke and scratched my neck. This is what happens when I scratch my... look at that. That's awful. I just bruise so easily. Anyway.
Well, anyway, I think that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks, Aaron, for coming on and telling us all about Thorak's emotional problems that he's repressing so hard right now.
So hard. It's
also
in a glass jar, in a safe, in a vault, in his heart.
buried in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Dogs.
I've got a jar of dirt. Oh. I hope you have a blast with horror games.
I will totally.
I will not be watching because I hate surprises in that way. So, you enjoy yourself.
Well, and we'll see you either on the Saturday stream or on Monday again. Yeah, we're gonna disappear for a little bit, and then we'll come back with some scary games. So, see you.
Bye.
Bye.